at Metropole TVKE across all your social media platforms. Thank you very much for beginning your day with us here. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. Let's talk about an issue that every Kenyan is contending with right now, especially as we are fighting the coronavirus pandemic, the cost of living in the country. There are different ways to look at it, because if you look at where we are, then you would hear that our inflation is well anchored within the margin that it needs to be. I'm talking about below 7% and not 2%, maybe levels of 2%, because then we'll be talking about deflation at the same time. But now, if indeed we are talking about the cost of living, then some of the ways in which the government finds an avenue to cushion Kenyans is by looking at the areas where majority of Kenyans are getting hit in terms of the cost of living. But then within law, again, the prices of these basic commodities are supposed to be readjusted to reflect the inflationary measures or numbers within the economy at that particular time. Case in point, KRA is supposed to review prices of various commodities after 1 year. That's within law. Let's talk about those this morning. But what we do know is that as of October 1st, prices of over 31 commodities are going to increase to reflect the current inflation levels in the country. Meaning that border is supposed to increase, beer is supposed to increase, and fuel as well. Those are the ones that we do know touch on majority of Kenyans. Now, let's go back a bit and see exactly where those are, because we do know that bottled water and juice are supposed to be part of those that are supposed to increase effective October 1st. And we do expect that excise duty around this is going to increase 4.79% in line with the average inflation. Now, let's go back a bit therefore and start looking at this data that we have. How has the government been earning on excise duty and VAT, which makes us look at the excise duty and VAT trend? Rishi, if we could jump into excise duty and VAT trend. Thank you. All right. Now, if you look at that, then you're going to say that all the way from 2015 makes sense to 2019 and 2020, this has been increasing, meaning that the government has always found a way of adjusting VAT and excise duty upwards. Now, in between here, the government will come in and tell us how they're trying to find a way to cushion the economy from the effects of the coronavirus pandemic or from any other effect within the economy. Now, within that, you would have a lot of programs that would really make Kenyans not pay fully on tax. But either way, when you look at the VAT and excise duty trend from 2015 to 2020, it tells you one story. The government finds a way of adjusting VAT and excise revenue trend upwards because in one way or another, they have to. Now let's go back and look at that again. Excise duty revenue on beer as well, because this is one of those areas that have been touched or that are going to be touched on again as from the 1st of October 2015 to 2019. Same story, always on an upward trend, meaning that the government has always been taxing beer or alcoholic beverages in the country on a high, and we do expect that same tax also plays to a bigger majority other than the inflationary readjustments of this price. We do expect that this is one of those areas that are going to be hit as well as from 1st of October. Now let's jump into fuel, and we're going to look at the average prices of fuel in the country, because I'll be telling you exactly how they are going to change. Now, that's where we are. That is as of 2021 January to July. We do know that gas was hit again. You're paying more for your gas, and you're bound to pay more again as from the 1st of October. You're going to pay more for kerosene. You're going to pay more for your petrol and diesel. All right, let's talk about this price now, because we do know we're getting in at 127. We do know that petrol is about again to go into a 1 shilling and 20 cents price adjustment. If you look at petrol, then overall we'll be talking about an excise duty on this product that is going to rise to 23 shillings and 0.4 of a cent as from the 1st of October 2021. Look at that price as well. Also talking about diesel and kerosene that are going to go through point. Let's talk about 50 cents increase as well. So we expect that you'll be buying at 108 or 109 thereof as of 1st of October 2020. Now, under the areas that are also going to be hit, let's now look at where we are in terms of inflation. So we can see exactly where we are. Now, we're going to give you that all the way from January 2021 to June 2021. And we did touch a high of 6.32 in June. Now, that's very high, meaning that in reality, Kenyans are feeling the heat, because one of the ways in which we look at the disinflation rate, and one of those parameters, is by looking at the basic commodities that really form that index. There are other factors as well, but those ones are measured, and you will see exactly where we are. So when you see that 6.32, meaning that majority of the basic commodities, we'll be talking about sukuma wiki, we'll be talking about unga, we'll be talking about tomatoes and onions, there will be on a high, because we do know our safe point is at 7. So we were almost touching that 7% mark, albeit by just little points, meaning that probably as from the 1st of October again, we're bound to see high inflation rates in the country, because majority of these prices are going to be pushed into the consumer's end, that we and the people are going to pay so that we can get access to this. Now, for those who want to get beer, you'll be paying 5 shillings and 77 cents more. If you're into spirits, you'll be paying 13 shillings and 20 cents more as from 1st of October 2020. Also good news. All right, let's cross over to good news this morning, because we've also been talking about how the insurance industry in the country has been reeling from the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. Yesterday, we spoke about how Kenya Reinsurance has had a dip in profitability to levels of 66% drop in profitability in the first months of 2021 to June 2021. Yes, that's the figure. Now let's talk about CIC Insurance, because there's a glimmer of hope, because they've posted 259.5 million profit in the year ended June 2021 from a net loss of 335.5 million a year earlier. That's the same period. We go back to 2020, January to June. Now, they're saying that this is on the back of improved underwriting and a higher volume from investment income. Let's talk about that now. If you look at the total income under that area, it is risen to 2.6 billion from 1.2 billion, and this is going to come from also asset management business that has jumped 35% to give them 89 billion under that review period. And we're talking about premiums that have jumped also 10.7 billion from 9.2 billion, and general insurance business has also experienced a 75% increase in underwriting profits to 447 million shillings. Let's talk about that good news as well, which will also be an indicator that things might be coming back to normal in the economy. But we say that with a pinch of salt, because we have to wait and see exactly what other insurers in the country are recording in the first 6 months of 2021. Because, well, everybody did say that 2021 was a recovery year, but is it? We have to wait and see, as they say. That's exactly how we start this morning. You can join us at Metropole TVKE across all your social media platforms. We have a jam-packed session for you, but we begin with Metropole's Business Am News. Start off this broadcast this morning with the country's coronavirus situation in the country, and the virus is still unrelenting, with infections and hospitalization numbers still rising. Now, Kenya's COVID-19 positivity rate stands at 14.7% after the Ministry of Health reported 1,974 new infections captured in the last 24 hours. Now, the confirmed cases were from a sample size of 13,407 tests. Now, Kenya's caseload now stands at 215,730. In terms of county distribution, Nairobi has 700 new cases, Mombasa 147, Kiambu 139, Nyeri 128, Nakuru 116, Machakos 87, Nyandarua 62, Kilifi 41, Kirinyaga 47, and Busia 39 new infections. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe further announced 30 more COVID-19 fatalities, one of them having occurred in the last 24 hours, while 29 are late deaths captured during audit facility. Kenya's cumulative fatalities now stand at 4,241. A total of 1,838 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities countrywide, with 138 of them in the intensive care units. In terms of vaccination, Kenya has now administered over 1.88 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines, with at least 721,000 people having been fully vaccinated. The United States has issued a travel advisory against Kenya due to the COVID-19 and a high risk of crime and terrorism. This comes after the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a level 3 travel health notice for Kenya due to COVID-19, indicating a high level of COVID-19 in the country. According to the U.S. State Department, the risk of its people contracting COVID-19 and developing severe symptoms may be lower if they are fully vaccinated. Americans planning to any international travel are being highly advised to review the CDC's specific recommendations for vaccinated and unvaccinated travelers. The advisory alert captured counties of Tana River, Lamu, areas of Kilifi and north of Malindi. Days ago, Tourism Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala said the sector was targeting visitors from countries that have vaccinated the majority of their population, including the US, UK and China, to aid its recovery process. The US has also warned its citizens against traveling to the Kenya-Somalia border counties of Mandera, Wajir, Garissa due to terrorism, and Turkana County due to crime. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers now wants the Kenya Revenue Authority to halt the implementation of inflation adjustment on specific rates of excise duty set to take effect on 1st October. According to Job Wanjohi, the head of policy research and advocacy at Kenya Association of Manufacturers, the annual inflation adjustment has rendered locally manufactured goods less competitive, effectively flooding the market with illicit products from neighboring countries. In a statement on Tuesday,